folks, by now you know the format. I will go ahead and spend some time explaining the concepts, and once I wrap up the concepts, then I'll go ahead and give you a live demo of whatever I discussed in the class with my own Azure cloud account. So welcome to Cloud Computer and Microsoft Azure. My name is Jay, and you can see here that this series of sessions, they are about Microsoft Cloud. Parallelly, we're also trying to give you all the information you need for taking the AZ900 exam. Now you can see here in that list, I have 4 certifications from Microsoft. The second one is AZ900. So I have already taken the certification. So it is an entry level certification. But then again, I only teach entry level computer science engineering anyway. So for me, that is what is required. So I have it, and I'm now trying to help you through these sessions take that exam maybe in a few months once this course is over. So there you go. I am already AZ900 certified. I've taken the exam, I passed it, and that makes me really the right person to learn how to pass this exam, for your career improvement as well. So other details are there on the slide as well, like other stuff about me and so on. So there you go. Let's begin then. So in this session, we will be touching upon the main topic, as the title of the session says, is Azure Portal. Related to that, I also want to spend some time talking about resource groups, talking about free services on Azure, and also the Azure billing portion. Now, these are all topics that have been pulled from the official AZ900 learning material. So whatever I'm talking to you, it is very much relevant to both learning about Azure Cloud and also preparing for the AZ900 exam. Now, last session, I was mostly talking about the cloud, giving introduction and about the exam as well. Now, today I want to get into some practical stuff, right? So assuming you're preparing for the exam along with me, whether you're watching the recorded session or the live session, I want to show you right away. So when you go to your browser, okay, so what you will do is you'll try to go ahead and search for AZ900 Microsoft Learn. Okay, so I'm going to put that phrase in the chat as well. I would request you to make a note of it. Remember, the chat messages don't remain on the screen after the session is over. So as I'm talking to you, I'll be sending information. Let me make sure that I'm sending it to everybody. Yeah, there you go. I've selected the button which says everybody. So please make a note of that. All right, so that is what you want to search on your computer, and that will usually directly take you to the certification page on the Microsoft Learn website. So let's go there, guys. Okay, so last week I didn't have time to show all this. So today I do have time. I planned for it. I budgeted for it. So let's do it, right? So there you go. So this is the certification page. So again, let me take this URL here, put it on the chat. Please copy it while the session is still live. Okay. So this is the certification we are talking about. And if you scroll down, it gives you a lot of information. And the best part is, you see here, there is something called as prepare for the exam. And there you have the another link. So this is what we are doing right now. So what I'm doing is every session I'm coming here, I'm going through this, I'm taking topics, the key topics, the main ones I'm taking from this syllabus. So I'm going to put this link as well in the chat. So again, folks, these links don't exist beyond the session, so please copy it as I'm sharing with you. So this is the main syllabus, guys. And I want to tell you, like, let me just show you as well, since I'm already on this website. Remember that you will have to log in to this website. In the previous session, I mentioned that you should be creating a Microsoft account. And I even showed you, I gave you a checklist and everything. So I hope you have created the account. If you haven't, do it now. And then go ahead and log in to this Microsoft Learn website. And when you do that, I'm showing it here on the top right corner, you will see I've logged into this website and you can see my profile. So let me go into it. Let me show you what you can expect. So here, okay, now here you can see I have a lot of badges. Like I've been doing Microsoft things for more than 12 years, my dear students. So I have a lot of badges, reputation points, trophies, and all that. I used to be very active when I was young in the community. So that's why I get all these things. But what I really want to show you is on the left side. Now, when you create the account, you'll also get the same things because this is common for everybody. And once you go here on the left side, I have a section called credentials, right? So if I go to credentials, it'll load, it'll take a few seconds. And here there are two sections. One is called applied skill. That is something new which Microsoft started. It is not really relevant to me. But what is relevant to me and hence relevant to you is this part where it says Microsoft certification. So when you write the exam, those exams, once you pass them, you will get all your certificates here. So out of my 4 certificates, one of them is from a different Microsoft department called Microsoft MVP. So that is separate. So this one, the Microsoft exam certifications, the 3 of them are here. So you can see here that I've got this Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. So when I click on this, it'll come back here. Sorry. Yeah, here it is. View certification details. So there you go, folks. So like this, once you pass the exam, you will have a official Microsoft issued certificate. So this is your goal, right? So please remember, when you watch the recording, my goal here with these sessions is to cover these topics one after another. So whenever I apply for an assignment, like right now, I'm in the city of Coimbatore in India, and I'm currently doing a batch. What I do, guys, is, when I'm not talking to you, I'm doing corporate training batches where I go to companies and I conduct training for fresh graduates who have passed out from engineering and are now starting their job. So that's what I really do. Usually it's a 2 month, 3 month, sometimes 1 month assignment. So there you go. So whenever I apply for a new training assignment, whenever I talk to a new customer, I go ahead and share these details on my resume. And then, as I said, these exams, even though they are fundamental exams, I still had to prepare for almost 100 to 150 hours. Take the exam. The exam is actually very difficult. It's very tough. Out of 900 points, you have to score 700 points, and you have to go to the test center. It'll be proctored. That means, there'll be cameras everywhere. They'll be watching you, so there's no cheating involved. It's you and the test. And the test questions, they're so varied and everything. They cover a lot of concepts. So it is, even though it says fundamentals, it is a difficult exam, which is why, remember, if something is easy, then everyone would do it, and that will make the value of the certificate go down. Like if everybody has something, then nobody cares. So okay, so it's good that it is difficult, and also the exam costs money. Depending on where you are, which country you are, the price might change. And sometimes Microsoft gives these discount coupons and everything. Once you create an account, you'll get emails like, okay, if you're gonna take the exam next month or something, you might get those coupons and everything. But whatever it is, there's a whole process about this. So it's not just about the learning, you also need to get all these things ready, and this is your goal. Okay, and it carries a lot of weight on your resume. I'm telling this from personal experience. So whenever, even now, when I do the PowerPoint, like for example, I let me come back to my PowerPoint. So even my PowerPoint, when I start, I put all these things on my resume. It looks good. It gives you a confidence that you have worked hard and you got these credentials. And that also gives you an impression to your clients as well that, okay, this person is good quality material. So that is our goal, right? So please keep that in mind. Remember I already told you last session, you have to create a Microsoft account. I already told you in the last session, you have to create a Microsoft Azure portal account. And now I'm showing you, this is the website where you're going to join. And also when you're ready to, buy the exam, again, it'll come up here. Like here, you have like, again, credentials. Once you purchase the exam, it will come up here. It'll show like, okay, there you go. These are all the exams I've taken. See, I've been taking, like whenever I'm free, like, between work assignment, like right now I'm traveling, I'm working, I can't take exams, I can't study for it. But whenever I'm between assignments from clients, I go home. Every day I study for 2 hours to 6 hours. That's what I do. So every 6 months I try to take one new exam. If I pass, that's great, I get a certificate. If I fail, no problem, I'll simply study again, take the exam after 6 months. So you can see here, I actually have written 4 exams in the last 1 year, but I only passed 3. The last one I actually failed. The passing max, I told you, it's 700. This is an advanced exam, and I was supposed to score 700 out of 900, but I scored 660. So I lost the exam by 40 points. So it is what it is. So now again, I'm now I can't study. I'm working, right? I got to pay the bills. So I'm working. Once this assignment is over, I'll go back home. Again, I'll study for 3 to 6 months. This is a very advanced exam that I failed. So this time I don't want to, like, 40 points, right? Maybe I can take again, maybe I'll pass, but that's not enough for me. This time I want to work hard, try to pass with 800 out of 900 or something, like, so let me see. I'll try to take the exam maybe before the end of this year. That is my goal again. So I also have a goal. Every certificate adds to my resume. Every certificate makes me that much more higher qualified. So that's what happened to you as well. So that is the delivery, that is the promise, my dear students. So let's come back. So there you go. So that's what this exam is about. Microsoft Learn. I put the links. Please copy the links, and when you're studying, use that. And you can, and as you study, you can compare what we are doing in that with the session that we're doing here. So the topics will match. All right then. So let's talk about the very first step, the Azure portal. So the cloud, at the end of the day, is all about getting the cloud services that you want. Okay, so if you are working on some kind of a developer project, you might need a database, you might need a web app, you might need a virtual machine, you might need an authentication system. There are so, or you, if you're working on an AI project, you might need an AI service. So whatever it is that you're working on, depending on the field you're interested in, you need to go ahead and commission and provision those resources. So the Azure portal is a website for your Azure account, which allows you to create whatever resources. So when we talk about resources, like I said, it can be a virtual machine, it can be a database, it can be any of the cloud services that are available. So you can use this website to create and manage these resources. Now, the important thing is when you start studying the AZ 900 exam, there are some chapters, and we will be touching upon that as well on a very minimum level. Um, you actually can do all these cloud things using the command line. Okay, so it's very kind of a little bit advanced, a little bit boring as well, but we'll have a session on that. How can you use command line to do these things? There is something called as an Azure cloud shell. I'll talk about it in a future session, and it is part of your AZ 900 exam. So actually a lot of developers, they prefer to use that to deal with the Azure portal. But then again, at the same time, not everybody wants to work on command line. So that is where the Azure portal comes in. So the website gives you a relatively user-friendly way to manage your resources. So like the slide says, it is a central place to create, configure, monitor, and delete resources and subscriptions. So today, if you look here, I am going to talk about the Azure billing section where we'll talk about subscriptions. If I don't reach that topic today, I'll simply discuss the topic in the next session. So what happens is in the Azure cloud, you actually have the option to have multiple subscriptions. So what happens is, like, for example, before, like now I am fully 100% into training. But before, when I was younger, like when I say younger, like 5 years ago or something like that, I also used to do a lot of developer projects. So what happens is when we join a client, when I start working on a project for a client, either remotely or in office, what they would do is they would add me, they'll take my Microsoft account and add me to a subscription of their company so that I can create whatever resources is needed for the work using their subscription. So account is still mine. So whatever account I'm using right now for my exam, for my personal cloud usage, it's the same account, but they will simply add my account into their system so I can access their cloud services. So that is what subscriptions is all about. Or, if you are also like doing some things, you might have a personal subscription. And if you're also running a business, you might have a business subscription. So you would be using multiple subscriptions. So that's what we mean by managing resources and managing subscriptions. And next, there's also something called role-based access points for administrators, developers, and operators. So here what we mean is in the portal, like for example, when I join a client project, I would be joining as a developer. So I don't need full access to everything. So what I need is I need developer access. So I should be able to create only those things that I need for my project. At the same time, there could be like a marketing team or an intern or something. They will be given limited access to the portal. So maybe they can see what is going on, but they cannot create or delete things. At the same time, you also have like these admin level access. So that means like the person who owns the subscription. So they would have full access. They would have full access to everything in the portal. So that is what we mean by role-based access points. So depending on you, what you're planning to do in the Azure portal, the owner of the subscription will give you role-specific permissions. Next, we also have the option to create customizable dashboards. A dashboard, you guys, I believe you've seen dashboards. Dashboard is where we'll go ahead and organize things the way we want as per our work. So before the end of the session, I will again log into my Azure portal, and I'll show you the dashboard I have, which helps me manage my project. So that is what we mean by customizable dashboard. So depending on your work, you'll create different dashboards for different projects. Right, let's keep going then. So next thing is the Azure Resource Group has the main key section. So when we see here, like in fact, why don't I just do that right now? So we have here, if I go back to my Azure portal, so there you go, folks. This is my personal Azure account. You can see here on the top right corner, it has my name, it has my photo as well. Yeah, there you go. It's a little bit small, but I think you guys can manage. So this is my subscription. So you can see here, I have all the resources that I have. And I also have different sections. I have my subscriptions here. I have my resource groups. I have my dashboard. So all the things we just talked about in the PowerPoint. So let's go into my subscriptions, and it'll show me all the subscriptions that I have in my account. So right now I only have one subscription. So I mostly use this for my training. I mostly use this for my learning. I mentioned before, I'm writing another exam. I failed recently, so I'm going to practice and try to take it again. So I only need one subscription. It's called pay as you go. This is also something I want to talk about here. What is pay as you go? Now, pay as you go is when you are paying only for what you are using, and this is actually very important. There is the AZ 900 exam has a lot of questions about billing, about how services are billed, and how you can reduce the billing, what are the different steps you can take to make sure you only pay what you're supposed to pay. So billing is actually a very core topic in AZ 900. So if I go here, it'll show me what is going on in my account. So there you go, folks. So this is what it is saying. Like, so this is what we're talking about. So this month, for example, you can see everything is zero. Professor Walson, are you able to see that, sir? It is zero and zero only. Even the forecast is zero. The current cost is zero as well. Now
Yes,
that
I can
means,
see everything very clearly.
perfect, professor. So what is happening here is, so it will tell you what is your current usage, and it will also do like a very simple forecasting to give you an idea what will be your final bill at the end of the month. Now, because I'm not doing any learning, I'm not doing any training myself, I'm not using the cloud account. So that's exactly what we mean by pay as you go. So as and when I use something, I create something, only then I have to pay. Now, this is actually kind of important because in the last session, I mentioned that when you try to create your Azure portal account, and please understand, if you're serious about this AZ 900 exam certificate, you must create an account. You need to have a credit card as well. Now, obviously, that will create, practical matters. We are talking about the cloud, so we must be practical here. When you are thinking about adding a credit card to something online, there's always that fear, some concern. What if you are accidentally billed or something? So that is why there are so many systems in Azure portal, in Azure cloud, to give you a clear idea about what is happening in terms of cost. So when I am doing training, when I'm using the Azure cloud, every day morning when I start my self learning, I check the bill amount. Again, night before I go to bed, I check the bill amount. I'll make sure, okay, if I'm using something for 1 hour, I use it for 1 hour, and then I will delete it. Of course, in a future session, I'll show you how to create resource groups. I'll show you how to create resources. I'll show you how to use them, and I'll show you how to delete them as well. But today, just giving you an overview of what this section does. We'll dive deeper into this as we move on to the future session. So this is the billing section. Now, to give you an idea what happens, last month I can actually go, yes, so there is an option where I can switch to the previous months. That should give you an idea about the cost. And the portal is, it's a little bit slow, it's always like that. So don't panic. It takes a while to go ahead and give you the details. So here, there it is. So it says, guys, this is in Indian rupees. So please don't panic if the numbers are big. So when it says the budget is 1,000 rupees per month, that means it's roughly about $12 per month. Okay, so please keep that in mind when you're looking the numbers in the billing. So if I have a bill of 10,000, that is like $120. Okay, so please do the conversion in your head, right? It's about $85, 85 rupees per dollar. So that's how it works. So don't panic if the number's so big. That's only because they're in Indian currency. So there you go. So I can go ahead and change this to the previous month, and it'll try to. I think I did something. No, no, January also I was busy with my work. I didn't do anything. But if I go to December, hold on, I was training. Ah, there you go, guys. So here you can see in the bottom, you can see some numbers. Professor, you'll see that I spent some money on something called as a event grid. Let me see if I can zoom in. Hold on, folks. Let me scroll down a little bit. Professor, is that a little bit better? It's kind of gray. I can't help it,
Yes.
but
Yes.
perfect. So
We
again, it's
got it.
Indian rupees, so don't panic with the numbers. So I was learning something called as an event grid. Okay, I was learning something called as an Azure app service. I was learning something called as an event hub. I was learning about storages. I was learning about service buses. So each and everything it'll give me like an itemized billing. So I probably use these things for about 10 minutes. That's the bill for 10 minutes. So there you go. Pay as you go. And if I go here, I think I was doing a lot of training in November. I got a pretty big bill in November. So if I go to November, yeah, there you go. So there it is. Yeah, Professor, are you able to see the graph here? So this is like an actual usage of what I did. So you can see here, I started my training in November, somewhere 19th or something, and then I kind of started ramping up, and I did some real amount of training, and then there you go. So that's the way the bill comes. And again, here also you can see I was doing some service bus training, SQL database training, API management training, Azure app service training, virtual networks as well. So why is this important, guys? So when you are preparing for the exam, there'll be an exercise, there'll be a chapter, and it will say, okay, go do this. And you'll have to come to the Azure portal and then do that. Okay, that is why understanding the billing, how much is it going to cost you, right? Look, you are learning, of course, everything costs money. If you want something, you know, to spend money. At the same time, it doesn't mean you can't be smart about it. So that is why, you know, I decided to make billing a key topic in today's session, because if you're not careful with this, I remember one time I created a by mistake. I didn't. I mean, I was still learning. I think I have it here somewhere. Professor, just give me one. Bear with me, Professor. I'll show you the sudden big bill I had to pay. Oh no, not this one.
Take
somewhere,
your
somewhere.
time. Take your
I
time.
created something and then I forgot about it.
Mm.
I forgot to delete it like I always do. I think I was in a rush, or maybe something happened, or maybe there was Formula One race that weekend. I watched Formula One. So maybe I got distracted or something. And then I watched the race, I think it ended. And then I think my team won or something. So I was happy. Then when next day I got up as usual, I checked my billing. And there it is. There was a bill of about some money. So I was like, oh, okay. All right. Right. There you go. It happens. Okay, so there you go.
Yes.
That's why you check every day. So at least I do have a habit of checking every day in the morning, so that night I forgot. So see, that's the story. So there you go, guys. This is about the Azure billing section. So because your card is already added, the amount is automatically blocked, so you can't even remove the card. The only thing you can do is you can go to the bank and cancel the card. So that's the only way you can avoid paying the money. But even then, Microsoft obviously has people. So if you don't pay the bill, they will come after you. So yeah, so please be careful when you're playing around, when you're preparing, just like me. Be careful, use when you want, delete after that. Understand this very, very important word, pay as you go. So please remember, pay as you go means you're paying as you use something. So that was about the dashboard. So that's what we're talking about, resource groups and everything. Next, there are also some things like resource-led context panes which show properties, activities, logs, and metrics. We will go into it when we start creating resources. Today, I'm not planning to create any resources. That's going to happen in a future session. For now, remember these words. We will come back to it and we'll go into detail later. Next thing is you have a search box and also the command bar. Now, this I want to show right now. So when I go back to my portal, you go here, let's go back to the home section. We are back to the home section. Right there on the top, guys, we have the search box. So any service I need, I'll obviously be able to search for. And you can see here, like I said, I was working last time I was training, I was practicing event hubs and things like that. They're available. So for example, I'm trying to do some AI stuff. So I'll search for an AI service and suddenly Microsoft will show me all the AI services that are available in the Azure cloud. So depending on your training, you can come here You can go ahead and search for what you want. Very simple feature, very basic feature. Like for example, if I'm looking for databases, I'll come back here, I'll search for database, and then I'll go to services, and there it is. I have all kind of databases. For example, Azure SQL database. I use this a lot when I'm training. There you go, guys. So Azure SQL database option will come up. So this is what we're talking about, the search box. Next, there's also a command bar. So there's a command bar is actually here in the top right corner. There is something called as a cloud shell. So we can actually use the cloud shell to run terminal commands. So here, Professor, are you able to see this? Sir? Are you able to see the cloud shell which is connecting in the bottom of the screen? Again, I can't zoom that, guys. Okay, Professor can see means others can see as well. So guys, this is the cloud shell I was talking about. We can actually do a lot of cloud things using command line itself. Now, I do plan to go deeper into this in a future session, but not today because it's a little bit deep. There are a lot of commands involved. Not today, not in the beginning sessions. Let me get you guys warmed up for a few sessions, and when you're ready, then we'll do that complicated command cloud stuff. Right, guys, so that's about the command shell. Coming back here. Next, it also has notifications, activity history, and support request, which you can use when you're using the cloud account. So what is notification? So let's see that again. Here it is. So as and when you use your cloud services, you will get notifications of a variety of activities. You'll get notifications about services that you're creating. Sometimes what happens is when you create a service, sometimes it gets created immediately. Other times it can take 10 minutes, it can take 30 minutes, it can take 1 hour. Sometimes you have to come back after a few hours to see if it is ready. So that is the notification that we are talking about in the notification section. So you can see for yourself what is happening. So it's like a sent, like how on your mobile app, like, if you're traveling to something, you leave your phone behind. Like right now, I'm talking to you. I kept my phone in silent mode, right? And then after the session, I'll go and check. I'll have notifications from work or from clients or from family members or friends or something. There'll be a long list of notifications. Very useful to keep track of things. Similarly, Azure portal also has a notification sections where you will get the notifications of all the things that are happening in your account, including billing things, which are again very, very important. So that is the notification bar. Next thing is activity history. So again, here, if you see, there is already a button called more events in the activity log. So this is what we mean by activity history. So this is like notifications, but much more detailed. So let's go here and I'll see activities maybe from last month or something. So there are no activity in the last 6 hours because I have not been using this account. So if I change this to last month, we click on apply. I haven't done anything with the cloud account. So, oh, there you go. There it is. I did do something 5 days ago. Maybe I created an account or I created a resource or something. So like this, all activities will be stored here. Once again, this is important, not right now, but when you start using the cloud, creating resources, playing around with it, this activity is where you'll come and find out, okay, what did you create? What did you delete? What are you manipulating? What has been removed? So that entire event history, like literally a list of events will be available in the activity log. Next, we're talking about support requests. Now, you might think that you'll never have to contact Microsoft support, but you know what? You will. A lot of times you'll have to raise a ticket. And in my experience, I have raised many tickets. I've been playing around with Azure Cloud since 2012. I still remember the first time, when I started this training, I used to be in sales. I used to be in marketing before this. I'm talking way back, when in 2012 and all that. So when I switched to training and development work, I remember getting the Azure portal account and everything. So many things was a mess, and I think because back then it was still very new, the Azure portal, it had some issues. It was very new and all that. Like again, in credit card also, there were some problems adding the credit card. And back then there were offers going on. They would give us some free services and stuff like that. Sometimes the free service was not activated and all. So whenever anything goes wrong, and sometimes maybe by accident you created something expensive, but you didn't use it, and there's a huge bill or something, you can actually get in touch with Microsoft support, try to explain to them that, okay, you're just a learner and you made a mistake. And sometimes if you're lucky, if your reason is genuine, then the Microsoft support people may actually give you a discount or remove the charge entirely. So they are good. And in my experience, whenever there's an issue, it doesn't matter whether you're a And like, for example, I only do training on this, so my bill is very, very low. It's not a big amount. Still, whenever I raise a request, usually within 2 hours, 4 hours, somebody from Microsoft support will contact me. Sometimes they email me, sometimes they will chat with me, sometimes they'll give me a call directly. So they're very, very good in my opinion. I've never had a bad experience with Microsoft support, even though I'm not like their biggest customer or something like that, right? So here, where is the support system? So if you go back here on the top right corner, you have the question mark symbol. It's a little bit tiny, Professor Watson, but I hope you can see it, sir. On the top right corner, there's a very tiny question mark symbol. And if I click on this, a tab opens up called support and troubleshooting. So
I
a lot of
see.
times you can just type, you do see, yes, professor. If you can see, then students can see. So let's say I'm having some billing issue, then I can just type billing issue and they'll try to give you some AI based automatic solutions. A lot of times they actually work, sort of solutions will get solved on the spot. But if it doesn't get solved, if you select this, they'll give you some options like, okay, what is happening, select a subscription. So it's very straightforward. I don't want to create a support ticket right now because I don't have any issue, but just want to show you guys this is where the panel is. So if you have a real problem, they will definitely help you. For me, at least, I've always gotten very, very quick resolutions, whatever may be the issue. Sometimes I'll have an issue about something which only costs like 10 cents or something, like a small database I created for 2 or 4 minutes and something wasn't working. I raise a support ticket for that. Even though it's only for 10 cents, still the support people will email to you and try to solve whatever is the issue that is happening. So very reliable guys. Please don't think that I'm just praising them because the session is recorded. I'm being very honest, guys. If it was terrible, I'll tell you it is terrible, right? But they're actually good. When something is good, we should talk about it. We should not only talk about when things are bad, we should also talk about when things are good. So things are good here. So there you go. I'm talking the truth, right? Anyway, so there you go. That is about the support tab in the Azure portal. So there you go, guys. Let's return to our PowerPoint here. So these are the main things here, right? Next, productivity and management. So these are just some things, some quality of life facilities that are available to make your life easy. Now, this may not matter now because you're just learning, right? You're not doing any actual developer work. Like when you're doing developer work, again, when I was younger, I used to do developer work. The portal would really help us. We'll create all kind of shortcuts, dashboards to manage our resources. Every day we have to check all kind of things. It was crazy. But for us learners, this may not be that important, but I'll show you the main things. First thing is they're talking about dashboards. So if I close all this, and I go here, I believe I have one dashboard, right? Yeah, there you go. I only have one item because that's the only thing I'm using right now in my classes or something or in my training. So there you go. This is my dashboard. I have only one thing called storage account, which I'm using, I think. And that's not even a real thing. I already deleted it to save money. So in the dashboard, you can keep whatever things you need in the dashboard for quick access. Not that useful for a student who is just trying to prepare for AZ 900 exam, but as your life becomes complex, you do start doing complex things, the dashboard becomes very, very useful. Next, what else is there? Now, there's also something called as resource templates, also called as ARM. Now, these resource templates are files, like templates. They're literally files that can be used to recreate resources. Now, ARMs are slightly advanced topic. I don't think you need to know how to code them or something. However, you need to know where to find ARMs, how to use them on a very surface level. So in a session, just like the Cloud Shell, I will go deeper into ARM in the future. Next, and the Cloud Shell. This is something I already showed you a few minutes ago. The Cloud Shell is something like a command line thing. This also, I do plan to have one dedicated session on the Cloud Shell. There are many ways to run the Cloud Shell. There are a lot of commands which will make your life easy as a cloud developer. So we are going to go into that in a future session. But you know how it looks. You can see it right there. It is a Cloud Shell. You can use it to run Azure commands. So let's keep going here. Next, there's also, you can monitor resource health, view metrics, and also you can open quick actions. Now for this is also something I want to discuss in the future, but I do want to give you a sneak peek into how these things look like. So here, if I go back to my account, so I'll go here. Although my dashboard is empty, I'm not using it because I'm just a learner and I mostly teach basics and fresh graduates, so I'm not really using that. But if I go to my option which says all resources, you will see that I do have some resources running here. I have a computer vision resource, I have a database running, I have a network watcher running, I have a speech service running, and I have a translator service running. Now, you might be thinking, and I might have talked about this in the previous session, okay, if I'm so concerned about the billing and I just showed you the billing, it is zero, then why are these things running? So that is something, again, this is a topic for future, but I want to touch upon it today. These are some free services which are given literally free. So this one, it's called computer vision. It's a AI based vision. Computer vision service means, like, if you have an image, you give that to the service. The service will then try to identify the objects in the image. So that's what computer vision is. Similarly, I have another database called Cosmo DB. So again, it's a Cosmo database. There are many different kinds of databases like MySQL, Microsoft SQL, MongoDB, and another one type of database is Cosmo DB. So again, for some reason, there was some offer a few months ago when I was learning. So they said I can use this database as long as I want. I think it's for 1 or 2 years, but they did say it's unlimited for now, and I can use it without being billed. So like this, there are some free cloud services that Microsoft gives you, even if it's an old account. And as I said, when you create the new account, you might actually get everything for free for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months, to a certain limit based on which country and region you are. So, but these things are like free. It doesn't matter whether it's a new account or an old account. So there you go. These are free services. Again, within limits, as long as you are within that limit, you'll not get billed. As you saw, these things are running. See, you can see here right now, I can open this computer vision thing. Everything takes a few seconds to load. It doesn't matter how fast your internet is. So on the left side, these are called blades. Blades as in different sections. And here, for example, this is what we're talking about. You can see if everything is fine. You can see the overview here. You can see here pricing tier free, so you won't get charged for it. Then on the left side, you have activity logs, you have resource visualizers, you have monitoring. So that's what we are talking about, monitoring. So if there are any problems and things like that, those alerts can be created here in the alert section. And then you have metrics, a different kind of metrics about this resource will show up here. Again, depends on your usage. I'm not using it right now. So again, it's going to be empty. It will not show any data because there's no data to show. So this is what we mean by monitoring your service. So when you are actively using a cloud resource, you can use different blades, different sections on the Azure portal to see what is going on in a specific service. And if something is relevant to you, you can use that as well. And finally, you also have diagnostic settings, you have logs, you have resource management, you can add keys, you can change pricing tier, you can add networking, you can add authentication, you can also do cost analysis. So a lot of features, guys, depending on what you're working on. All the available properties and features will be visible in the Azure portal, and this is available for all resources. So right now I'm showing you the computer vision. Let me close this, come back to yeah, let's go to the database thing. So if I go here for the database thing, again, I will get different blades, different sections. Now, depending on the service, these things will change. For example, here I have something called as Data Explorer. Now, this wasn't there in the computer vision because that has no data or anything, but this is a database. So you can see all the tables I have created. I think I have a table called items or something. Yeah, there you go. I was playing around with this, in December, and it has all the items visible here. So depending on the service, you'll get different options, and you can explore them and monitor your resource. So that is what we mean by monitoring resource health, view metrics, quick actions directly from the blades. When I say blade, Azure use this word a lot. Blade, what they mean is, this is a blade, like this section. Okay, this is activity log blade, access control blade, diagnose and solve problems blade. So they use the word blade a lot. When you start studying for your exam, you go through that Microsoft Learn website. Again, they'll keep using the word blade. It was confusing me when I was new. Eventually, I found out what a blade is because at first I was like, blade? Where is the blade here? I don't see any blade. Because I was thinking blade means, like the blade thing, like the razor thing, or a knife or something. I don't know why. I mean, why would there be a blade in computers? I don't know. Eventually, I figured out that's what they mean. It's a silly joke, anyway. For me, at least, I don't know what others. So there you go, folks. This is what we're talking about in terms of monitoring Azure resource health. viewing the metrics and quick action directly from the blade. Right. Next, we are talking next. Let's move on to resource group. I think I have more topics in this slide, but I may have to move these things to the next slide. So let me start talk to resource group thing. Professor, let me spend some 5-10 minutes on this, Professor, and then I can take questions.
That is fine.
Okay, okay. Yes, Professor. So next topic here, folks, is resource groups. Now, the title itself should give you an idea. So when you're working on a project, it makes sense to group related items together. Now, we do this in real life as well. Like, for example, like right now, I'm sitting in a hotel room. I'm sure you can guess, curtains and all that. There's a TV hanging on the, the top behind me. So it is a hotel room. I'm traveling for work. I'm always traveling for work. So it is a hotel room. So what happens here is there's a section here. There's a balcony. There's a almirah. So there, one section is for keeping clothes. Another one is for keeping my computer stuff. Another one is for keeping my food and other snacks and things like that. So what I do is I keep them in separate places. Again, my laptop bag, it has different compartments. So the main compartment is for keeping the laptop. There's a side compartment where I keep my keys, wallet, other things which I need when I'm traveling, pen and stuff like that. So different compartments. So in real life, we do that as well. We group related things together. Similarly, in the Azure portal, related, you can create and put related things into a resource group. That I can show you right now. There's no need for a separate session for that. So if I go to my cloud here, and if I click on this, I'll get an option called resource group. So if I go here, it'll show you that I have 3 resource group right now. So I have a resource group called default resource group. I guess that is like a default, like there's something that is created automatically. You can see that many of them are empty because I'm not actively using the cloud account right now. So this is one resource group. Then I have another resource group called network watcher. So there I do have something. So this is something related to networking. You saw in the billing portal earlier, I was practicing some how to create network groups for the AZ204 exam. So I think I created this at that time. This is not being built, so I just left it as it is. So there, that's another resource group for you. Finally, I have another resource group called for Blobber. Now, this is where I kept all my free services, my computer vision, my Cosmo database, the speech service that I'm using, and also the translator service. Now, these things are free anyway, so I figured, okay, let me create them, and I put them in a separate resource group so that, okay, whenever I'm working on something, whenever I want to, like, for example, I do a lot of cloud training as well. So whenever I'm doing cloud training, I don't want my students to get billed. That applies to you as well. So when I'm teaching them, I teach them, okay, guys, you know what? If you want to use the cloud, if you want to do some coding without incurring any charges, use these free services. And that way you get the cloud experience, you get your practice, you get the experience of using the cloud, and you're not being billed. So there you go. This is a resource group filled with all the free services. Now, how do you go ahead and create a resource group? Very straightforward. So I close this, and on the top left corner, you can see here, there is a nice create button. So click on this. You'll get a nice form. Select a subscription. Now I only have one subscription, so I'll just select the first subscription. I'll give a name. Right now I'm talking to you guys for an AIU session, so I'll just call that one AIU demo resource group 1. Okay. It'll do some checking, like there's a small bar that moves when you type. It says everything is fine. And here, depending on where you're working. So guys, even though I am in India, my clients might be in another place. So I can work on any region in the world. So here there are so many regions. It's a pretty long list. But right now I'm in India, so I'm gonna just select, there it is, Asia Pacific, South India. I'm in the southern part of India, so I'm gonna create the resource group in South India. And then I'm gonna click on next, and it asks me to put some tags. So in the Azure portal, you can use tags, like tagging photos, tagging items. Like that, you can tag the things that you create. Right now, I'm not using any tags. I don't need them. The project is very simple. I'm just trying to show you how resource group work. Tags are not needed. I'll leave it as it is. Then I'll click on next. And then it says, okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a resource group called AIU Demo Resource Group 1. The region is South India. It doesn't have any tag. It's not very complex. It's ready. It has validated it. I'm just going to click on create. Oh, the Cloud Shell is still running. Let me just close that, guys. Okay, there you go. Now you can see on the top right. Earlier I was talking about notifications. You can see already. So it gave me an immediate notification on the top right corner that the resource group has been created. Now this is what I was talking about. Some things happen immediately. Some things take 5 minutes. Some things take 10 minutes. Sometimes I worked on, like, that event hub and all that I was showing you in the billing section. They can take 10, sometimes 30 minutes to be created or processed. So that's where notifications become useful. So I got the notification, the resource group is created. Now on the top left corner, I'll click on the menu again, and I'll go to this option called resource groups. And there it is, AIU demo resource group one. So now, if I want to create a service or something, I can go ahead and create that in this resource group. Now, I'll not create anything right now, because if I start creating things now, even free things, it'll take like 10-15 minutes. So we'll leave that to another day. So that is about your resource group. So create different resource groups to group related things together. That's what a resource group does. Now, I showed you how to create a resource group. What about when your work is done? No problem. So let's say we did something and now the work is done. I want to close it. Remember, again, if you are using some paid services, you are being billed per minute. The easiest way to make sure you don't get overbilled, you don't pay for more than what you're using, is when you put things in a resource group, there is a nice button here called delete resource group. Now, this is actually a very useful and powerful button. So whatever resources are inside, now let's say you created 10 resources, maybe you're learning many things, and then you're creating many resources left, right, and center. But luckily you are smart enough to put all the resources inside the resource group. So at the end of the day, you don't have to go and delete each of those things one by one. You simply have to delete the resource group, right? And normally the computer will try to tell you, you have to type the name. So there you go. It says type the name that you're trying to delete. So you can actually type it by hand, or there's a very nice copy button right here. So I can go ahead and paste this name, and then I can delete. And it says, are you sure you want to delete this resource group? Now, why is this important? Right now, this resource group is empty, so it doesn't matter. But later, when you're practicing, even in my sessions, I will be showing specific resources. I want to be sure that, because when you delete a resource group, it will delete everything inside it. It's like a kill switch for everything inside. So that's why the confirmation. So I'll say, yes, I'm okay with it. I want to delete the whole set. So if I had 10 databases in this resource group, all 10 databases will be removed. If you had some important data in that, it is gone. There is no way to recover it. So please be careful when you're deleting a resource group. If you accidentally left something important, then they will be gone forever, and there is no way to undo a resource group deletion on the cloud, right? So there you go, folks. That is about your resource group. Let me quickly finish these resource group slides. If I miss something, I want to touch upon it, but I think I've covered the basics here. Okay, create and delete, that is fine. Then we are talking about policies. Guys, again, policies, we'll cover that when we go a little bit deeper. You can create resource in different regions. I already showed that to you. Role-based access, that is again a session for a future topic. Then create the name, tag it properly, similar life cycles together, make sure similar things are grouped together. And there's an option to lock a resource group, like if you accidentally delete it. But again, that's an advanced step. But you can, like if you're concerned that you might delete something important, you can put a lock on a resource group so you don't accidentally delete it. But if you're the only person using, a lock is unnecessary, because if you are deleting something, already you have to type the name, and second, you have to confirm deletion. So I really have never used locks, but I know that feature is there. Finally, resource group will help you in managing your billing. Very, very important. They'll help you in monitoring things, and also do some automation boundaries. Again, automation is not there too much in your AZ 900 exam. Don't worry about it right now. Worry about that later after you're past AZ 900 and move beyond the basics. Then free service. I think this one I'll touch upon in detail in the next session. So, Professor, I am gonna give the floor back to you, Professor. Any questions? I want to take that before we wrap up the session, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Professor J.
Yes, Professor.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was J. Bakahali Radhakrishnan Vijaya Simha, Professor J, a gentleman who always performs outstandingly well Of course,
Thank you, Professor.
Professor J's presentations are usually data or terminology intensive. That's a lot of information that he has just shared with us, but he has also done some real hands-on, which allow everybody to kind of get a hand of what he's trying to teach us. Really, personally very, very impressed. Thank you
Thank you again,
very
Professor.
much, Professor J. Ladies and gentlemen, although we don't have too much time left, but there is some time to ask some questions. I'm not going to make more comments. Make sure you grab these websites that Professor J placed for you in the chat block. That is very, very important information if you want to get into the world of Azure Cloud, how to manage your resources, how to create the resource groups, and so forth and so on. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you have the websites in your favorites on your computer, on your systems before we close the session. I don't know if that is a question from I was looking at the chat blog from a question, a comment from Santam Duganda. Santam is telling us that this is too difficult for him. Let me have a comment from you, Professor J. Santam Duganda says this is really difficult.
Right, Professor. So we are already kind of we are still in the early stages, Professor. So not to push him away, but this is the time. The certificate is a very useful one. It has worked wonders for me. And if it was a very easy exam, then everyone would get a certificate, and it will
Yes.
dilute the certificate value. So. Ultimately, Professor, like you cannot see the horizon unless you climb a mountain.
Oh,
So that's what
yes,
I can
that
say.
is true. That is true. Thank you. Sister Jules Haba, I realize that you just got in. Let me see if you have a comment or if you have a question. Let's see, Sister Jules.
Thank you, Professor J. Thank you, and Dr. Vasi. Thank you so much. I was very, very late, so I just want to know the difference between the last session, introduction to computer cloud, and now this session. For me, maybe this session is full to details every cloud, like we saw in the first session, the different cloud like Azure cloud, AWS, GCP, and so on. So for the next session, we are going to describe the portal of every type of cloud. That means this is my opinion. I don't know because I came late. Please,
All
I
right.
came
Right,
very
right,
late.
right, right.
All right.
Right, like the recording is available, so I'm sure you'll catch that, Jules. I'm sure you'll do that. So mainly, last session was to give a general idea about what the cloud is, and that's why we talked about other cloud brands and things like that. But now we are officially starting our AZ 900 certification preparation. So what I'm doing here is I'm essentially picking up key topics from the AZ 900 syllabus. I'm just going through it one topic at a time. So today I touched upon resource group. I touched upon Azure portal. So I also touched upon billing to some extent. And now I was about to start free services. The time is up, so I'll move free service to the next session. And then we have like a table of contents, prepared by the AI team. So we are both collaborating and preparing the topics. Ultimately, when the sessions are over, you'll be ready to take the AZ 900 exam. So that is our game plan here. So really, our sessions will run parallel to that link I shared with you, which talks about the preparation material for AZ 900. So that's where we are right now. So we are in the first topic as per the learning syllabus to take the exam.
Thank you for the clarification, Professor J. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, remember The overall goal is to make sure you get all the details, linking the lessons one to the other so that you can become ready for the AZ 900 Microsoft exam. You will need to have all the elements that you need to fully understand, like Professor J told us at the very beginning, those exams are not pieces of cake, really. They are not easy, but with the type of passion that Professor J has, which he also transfers into his delivery of the course, I'm certain that if you take your time to pay close attention to everything we got from him, not only will you understand the concepts, the procedures, and everything in between, you will become fully ready to successfully take and pass the AZ 900 Microsoft exam. I am a little curious myself, Professor J. I am in the cloud. I do so much when it comes to computer technology. I don't have your knowledge, but I am very inclined into everything that is computer technology. But what I'm curious about is uh, what about when it comes to the fees that Microsoft charges? What can you tell us in terms of the US dollar as a
Right.
reference? How expensive are those things? To give you an example before you answer, I am getting very deep right now in artificial intelligence, but this thing is killing me financially because, I do a lot of video production, and sometimes, I love like putting J into inside a helicopter or inside an aircraft, for example. I enjoy doing those types of things, but any video of this nature that I produce can cost me 20, 30, $40 because
Right.
for everything I try to fabricate, I have to purchase a lot of credits. So is it like that for the cloud, for those lessons from Microsoft? Microsoft?
Right. So here, Professor, there are two types of costs that you'll incur when you're trying to get this certificate. So
Mm-hmm.
one is when you're practicing. So you might create resources. So for example, there is a topic that talks about databases. So let's say instead of just reading about databases and maybe understanding only the theory part, you decide to get your hands dirty, roll up your sleeves, and you decide to create some databases in the Azure portal. So
Mm-hmm.
then if you're clever, then you might be able to get all the practice done just by using the free database option. But maybe you want to go and check out the paid sections as well. So if it says per hour the bill is like $0.50, then you would be billed $0.50. But that also can be
Mm-hmm.
avoided if you're able to
Okay.
just forget about it, limit yourself to the free service. So that is about the
Mm-hmm.
training cost. Like if you want to do
Okay.
the hands-on thing. Otherwise, Microsoft, when you go through that link I shared with you, in fact, in the next session, sir, I really want to go through one of the chapters and give the students a real feel and how interactive it is. So they
All
do
right.
offer you what are called as like sandboxes, Professor. Sandbox is where they give you everything ready made. You just have to do the steps in a virtual environment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
they are also aware of the costs involved. Now that is one type of cost, but the AZ204 exam is very advanced, Professor. I can't escape it, and it is a very high level certificate, so it makes sense. It costs me some money during learning, so maybe every month I'm spending $10 or $20. So I
Awesome.
haven't I haven't ever spent more than $20 per month when I'm practicing or something. But
Okay.
the exam itself is expensive, Professor. Now, I don't need to guess that, Professor, because the website is open for everybody. So if you give me a minute here, if you watch the laptop screen, so if I go back to this one, and let me just close the chat box. I scroll down here, and when I'm ready to take the exam, there you go, Professor. That's how much it costs to take the exam.
99, not bad.
Yes, professor. So there you go. Now, depending on where you are. So if I select India, the price is actually a little cheaper. Maybe because for some reason in India it is cheaper. Like in India, it's about 3,600 rupees. That's roughly about $40.
Ah, man, I'm gonna move to India then.
Oh, but you do have to give your ID card here, professor. So you'll still be an American no matter where you are. So.
Yeah, but I can rely on you to give me an Indian ID card.
No problem, professor. No problem at all. So we
Wow,
can we
those
can we can.
are wonderful clarifications. Ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen, I have told you many times that every time we are dealing with this subject matter expert, we are in very, very solid hands. As a matter of fact, when Professor J was sharing with us at the very beginning some of his credentials, for example, from the Microsoft website, he also pointed out that from that site, he earned 230 badges. We're talking about someone who not only has the credentials, but also performs his task outstandingly well, deals with people in a very, very tactical manner. Everything is in there, everything is with him. That's why we trust him so deeply with Professor J. Bakahali Krishnan Vijaya Simha. We are, I repeat, in very, very solid hands. Thank you very much for your presentation once again, Professor J. Before we invite the participants to collectively thank you, I would like to give you another opportunity to draw a conclusion to today's session, please.
Okay, thank you, Professor. So, folks, as usual, once again, quickly, I'll just share my screen. I say this in every session, so I do have, like, again, if you saw in the beginning of the slide, the information about my community, the GitHub and everything. Some students, as I said, they do ask questions and all, so please go ahead. You can ask questions in my discussion forum that is always open. Put your question there and I'll reply to you. And if somebody is really seriously taking the exam, just put as many questions as you want. I will reply to it usually within 24 hours. And if I can help you get the certificate, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. I don't get any commission if you get certificate. I'm just happy in general to help people get it because of how it has kind of helps me project myself with my clients. A lot of times when I get a phone call for a next assignment or something, I just tell them like, hey, you know what, I'm a guy with 4 Microsoft certificates. And then in 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, Jay, you're selected. Come here, do our training for 3 months. So it really helps, guys. It really helps. It's like a ticket to freedom. I mean, I'm not saying I'm wealthy or something, but it is a good living, a happy living. So yeah, so there you go. I'm happy to help in any way possible. And back to you.
That's very, very beautiful. Wow. I am, again, very, very profoundly impressed. That's another plus, brothers and sisters, with this guy who commits himself to assisting you to the fullest extent. I'm sure you have some beautiful words for him as well. And as I am saying, thank you to each and every one of you once again. I hope you will definitely make sure that you'll be in attendance at each and every one of future sessions from Professor J, as your opportunity is there right now to talk to him. I don't know what you're going to tell him, but grab this opportunity right at this time. Brothers and sisters, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Watson. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful class. We
See you next
enjoyed
time,
it.
guys. See you next time.
Could we have the
Such
crowd
a blessing to have
support
you.
Thank you so much.
please?
Thank
Take
you.
care, guys. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
I
Bye, guys.
hope
Bye-bye.
you
Take care.
celebrated
We're happy.
Valentine's
Thank
very
you.
well. Happy Valentine's,
Thank you, Professor.
everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. The same
Bye,
for
guys.
you.
Bye. Be blessed.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.